At the core of it, data visualization is all about communicating results from data. Data visualization is all about simplifying data, cleaning data, with the end goal of helping you and your stakeholders understand data on a more intuitive level. To bring this to life, I want to give you an example. Suppose you take out a loan and you're given a payment table like this. When you look at this, what you really want to do is you want to find out how much you're paying in interest over time. Now, this table is not really a great way to see this data. Instead, we might look to create a visualization like this. And as you can see, you actually pay more interest at the beginning of a loan. And we wouldn't have known this if we didn't see this graph. And just like this example, visualizations can help change our perspectives or behavior. Another way to look at this is using a visualization like we see here. It is easy to see here, the longer the term of your loan, the more you'll end up paying in interest overall. And just like that, data visualizations can be really powerful. And that's the reason why you should use visualizations in your day-to-day work. There are a lot of great reasons to use a programming language like Python to build data visualizations. First, there are a lot of different types of visualizations you can make, including box plots, bar graphs, line graphs, histograms, etc. Second, using a programming language to build the data visualization allows you to quickly iterate and improve on a visualization, as well as try out many different visualizations. To get you started, I want you to first understand a data visualization process. You first have to have data where you clean it, you simplify it, and sometimes even augment your data source if your data source is not rich enough. From there, you can use that understanding from your visualization to improve your data quality or to explore other aspects of your data. And this process can keep on going until you have a visualization that tells a compelling story. So there are a few common tools and libraries in Python to build data visualizations. In this course, we're going to utilize the Anaconda Python distribution. Make sure to download a Python 3 version of this, as Python 2 will soon not be supported. And second, I encourage you to use Jupyter Notebooks. That's the program I'll be using throughout this course. Next, there are two major plotting libraries in Python, Matplotlib and Seaborn. And lastly, we'll go over the NumPy and Pandas libraries, as before you can visualize data, you have to get it, you have to clean it, and sometimes even augment it. And NumPy and Pandas help you do it. So as far as why we use the Anaconda Python distribution, Python has a solid claim to be the fastest growing major programming language. And Anaconda is the strongly recommended way of installing Jupyter Notebooks. So what Anaconda is really is a package manager, an environment manager, and Python distribution. Think of it as kind of like an app store for Python. Data visualization projects require many different packages and libraries. What's great is that Anaconda comes pre-installed with many of them. Anaconda is actually pretty easy to install. I have notes here on how to do it on Windows and a Mac. Also, if you need to install additional packages after installing Anaconda, you can use Anaconda's package manager, Conda, or Python's installer package, pip, to install those packages. Simply follow the link here to get that information. So what about Jupyter? Jupyter Notebooks contain both code and rich text elements, such as visualizations, links, and equations. So right here is a Jupyter Notebook in action, and you'll see a lot of that throughout this course. So I want to quickly tell you about NumPy and Pandas. Before we can plot data, we first need data in a plottable form. NumPy and Pandas can be used to efficiently load, store, manipulate, and export in-memory data. Pandas can also be used as a wrapper for Matplotlib, which brings us to Matplotlib and Seaborn. They are very popular Python plotting libraries. Matplotlib's API is relatively low level. This allows for a lot of customization, but also a lot of code. A way around this is to utilize the Seaborn wrapper, which offers high-level graphics and integrates well with the Pandas library. It's also important to keep in mind that with every Matplotlib wrapper, like Seaborn, it is still often useful to dive into Matplotlib's syntax to adjust the final plot output. And that's it. These are a couple common tools you can use to build data visualizations. To get started with the Jupyter Notebook, you first have to open it. To do this, you have to open up Anaconda Navigator. I'm working on a Mac, and on a Windows and a Mac, you can open up a Jupyter Notebook through Anaconda Navigator. I'll go over to Applications, and then I'll click on Anaconda Navigator. Looks like I have a little prompt here. I'll go ahead and click OK. And here is Jupyter Notebook right here on the homepage. If you're using a PC, it should look pretty similar. To open it, I go ahead and click Launch. As you see, Anaconda ran a process, and it's opened a Jupyter Notebook here in Chrome. Depending on what your default browser is, it could open it up in a different browser, such as Firefox, Safari, or Microsoft Edge. I'll go ahead and make this full screen. I'll click on Desktop. I'm going to open up a Jupyter Notebook by clicking New, Python 3, and traditionally, like you always do, I'll go ahead and print Hello World. I'll press Shift plus Enter to run the cell, and there we go. Jupyter also allows you to do markdown cells, and the way to do that is to go to Cell, Cell Type, and click on Markdown. And Markdown is very useful for annotating your code. Using Markdown, I made a secondary header and I said loading data. And the reason why I did that is oftentimes it's good to use Markdown to organize your code and to communicate with future users of your Jupyter Notebook. You can also add new cells by doing Insert above or Insert below. So really, that's all you need to know right now. If you're new to Jupyter Notebooks, don't worry, you're going to learn a lot more as we go through this course.